Change your retirement plan to A, hope for Social Security to stay solvent, or B, stash money in a 401k, or C, drop dead 3 weeks after you leave your job for good. That's uplifting. According to new research from the Census Bureau, less than 1/3 of Americans are saving money in retirement accounts. The study of 155 million workers' tax data found that high-income earners are more likely to save than low-income earners. That's so weird that people with more money would save more of it. Growing college debt is offsetting young people's savings, and many people don't realize they can invest in a 401k. California, Oregon, Illinois, Maryland, and Connecticut are experimenting with strategies to require companies to offer retirement plans or to automatically enroll workers in, of course, state-sponsored accounts. Good plan or just doubling down on wasteful big government? Well, let me ask Brenberg, Associate Professor of Economics at King's College here in New York City. Bryanomics, welcome back.
Good to be here.
So it's not surprising that we still feel like we're in the throes of the Great Recession because a lot of people haven't recovered.
Yeah, wages haven't grown.
No, not necessarily. So it's not a big surprise that certainly younger generations are not stocking their ponds with extra cash. Yeah,
well, look, and younger generations, by the way, are completely buried in student debt, and so they're having to pay that off instead of saving money. And, you know, the problem is when you're young, you don't think about things like retirement. You don't understand the power of compound interest, how much it matters to save money when you're younger versus when you're older. So you have those problems, but you also have an economy that's not growing. People save money for retirement when you've got a growing economy and they feel like they have some money to spare. When the economy's not growing, when wages aren't growing, people aren't thinking 50 years down the road. They're thinking, how do I stay in my home right now?
And you know what? They didn't have as cool as stuff 20 years ago. And now there's such cool stuff, you kind of have to buy it. I mean, you really are obligated.
Look, you got to sit right in front of you there.
I got 2 phones.
That's right, 2 of them. How can you retire? You got 2 phones.
So do you think that because this comes from the Census Bureau, is this just the government trying to scare us into more government programs? What's really going on here?
Well, look, what they're saying here is that they're talking about employer-provided retirement account. They're saying about a third of Americans are an employer-provided. That's not the only way you get your retirement. For most people, they're going to rely on Social Security. Not entirely, but most people are going to rely to some degree on Social Security. So it's simply not true that only 1 in 3 Americans are saving for retirement. They have retirement assets. They just might not be doing it through their employer. And why aren't they doing it through their employer? Well, you know, 12 cents of every dollar that you make comes off the top to pay for Social Security.
Exactly.
People have this vague notion that Social Security is going to be out there for me, so why in the world am I going to put other money away to deal with my retirement? That's a problem, but can you really blame people for thinking that way when Social Security has been billed as this great program?
It's a forced savings plan.
Exactly.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. So we don't need another forced savings plan, but the problem is Social Security is not going to remain solvent.
No, it's not. Within 20 years, it's not going to be able to pay its promised benefits. That's the problem. I think most people don't know that, and so they're expecting more from it than they're going to get. But here's the other problem with this Census Bureau data is they report this. We talk about this massive retirement crisis in the U.S., and then guess what happens? States like California, Oregon, Maryland, Connecticut say, hey, employers, know what you need to do? You have to provide a retirement account for your employees, or you have to force them to enroll in a state plan. Oh, good. Let's introduce another state plan to take care of the state plan that's not working. That's my problem with calling this a crisis, is we end up with these bad solutions.
And a quarter of your salary that's going to go to a theoretical program that if you're young, you probably won't draw from when it's finally time to retire. They're going to raise the retirement age so high, we're still going to be picking berries and pushing pencils when we're well into our 150s.
They're picking berries and pushing pencils. Do what you can. You got to do what you can.
Amen. You know what? You eat the berry and then you stab your coworker with a pencil and steal their
Take their money.
Exactly
There's your retirement plan.
I like it. Problem solved.
I like it.
Thanks for being here. Always appreciate it.
Good to be here.